Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for another S.E.E.K Science video. And today we are going to talk about buoyancy. Yeah, a little water here and there. So that's what we're going to talk about today, because a lot of questions were posed on why can I float in my tub but I can float in a pool. And I said, good question, which makes me think about why do large ships, boats, cargoes, or containers, why are they able to float in water and they don't sink? So we're going to talk about buoyancy. It has a lot to do with buoyancy. Let's go ahead and get started. Step one, first things first, you are going to need your materials. So all you need is a few pennies, right? There's a whole bunch of pennies in here, but all you really need is about 5 pennies. You're also going to need a large container because we want this to be the ocean for the large ships, because of course your body cannot float in here. And you're also going to need some aluminum foil. It doesn't matter what kind, if it's thin or thick aluminum foil, long as it's aluminum foil. And we are going to use this to build our ship or boat, however you want to design it. And the trick is, how can we build this to hold these pennies, at least 5 pennies, these pennies? We're gonna use these as our cargo, okay? Because in the first video when we talked about density, sink or float, when we dropped the penny on the inside, it sank to the bottom. All right, remember that? When we talked about sink or float, again, drop the penny on the inside, it sank to the bottom. So how can we make a ship or a boat suitable so that it can hold these pennies without the ship actually sinking and the penny dropping to the bottom? The first thing you need to do is grab some aluminum foil. You can use as much as you like. And you are going to have to create your boat. So let's get started. I'm gonna put a little flag on here. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. All right, everyone, I am back with my creation of my ship. Ta-da! So it's not the best, but you know, I try to do as best as I can. And we are going to try out to see if the pennies in this ship, and these pennies are going to represent our cargo, like when ships carry over cargoes or large containers, whatever you like to call it. If they are not attached to the ship, the question is, why do they float when they are so heavy? So again, this is our cargo. When I drop it inside the water, bloop, it went to the bottom. So now I am going to challenge myself and add 5 pennies to my ship, okay? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna add 1 more, 5, and let's test it out to see if my ship is going to sink or float. Ready? Dun, 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 dun. Voila! So my ship is floating. And the reason why it is floating is because of the buoyant force. So the buoyant force is the force that acts upwards, causing this to float, and it is greater than the force that's acting downward, which is gravity. So buoyant force is what causes large ships and containers and yachts to float. It's kind of like that displaced of water, but the force that's acting on it. So this is what buoyant force looks like. Again, the reason why my ship is actually, or my boat is actually floating, is because the buoyant force is greater. It's adding more pressure upwards so that my ship can actually float in a large body of water. So this is why you do not float in your tub, because there's not enough buoyant force for you to float in your tub with a large body of water, and this is why you are able to float in a pool. I hope you were able to understand why large ships, cargoes, boats, why they are able to float and also transport large containers. It is due to buoyant force being greater than the gravity of force that pulls things down, acting on the large object. All right. So I hope you were able to have fun watching us. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube video at S.E.E.K Foundation and make sure you join the S.E.E.K Science Club. Bye.